Yo, what is up, YouTube? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Today, we're going for another god guide, and today we're bringing you the god of war, Ares. I know he's a pretty simple god, but I feel like there's a couple things that people do wrong that makes them think Ares is worse, when in reality, there's just a couple things you have to do kind of specifically that will allow you to frag a lot and just like understand the character a lot more. Here's the Ares guide. So Ares is just a damage-oriented support who's pretty unsafe, but pretty tanky. His safety comes from his chains and his CC immunity and his ult, and that is about it. Very, very simple kit. I think Ares does this start better than most gods because of his kit and the way it works. This start allows him to start his 3, solo the side creeps on purple buff, and then it'll leave the mid purple buff with like 80 health, 50 health or something like that by the time your ADC gets to the purple buff. You obviously don't want to solo the entire buff, so if your ADC is running a little bit late, just hold the big buff. But you want to solo side creeps with Ares. And he's a Sentinels gamer. He likes Sentinels. He wants the embrace in the late game. It allows his prots from his 2, the prots from Sentinels, prots from Sov. I have Sov in the build. Spoiler. Yeah, it just makes his teammates around him also super tanky. So Ares with his boots. Most gods are going to be using reinforced shoes better than any of the other ones, and Ares is no different.
That will make them scream.
How tanky he becomes when you get reinforced shoes and then combine it with the damage potential he has when he hits level 3, he is impossible to fight off. If he hits his chains, you will be dying. So yeah, the boots, you're just going to go reinforced shoes. You can go shoes of focus. It's my second favorite shoe on Ares. Traveler's my third, and shoes of the Magi is my fourth. The tankiness you get from reinforced is more important than anything else. The cooldown you get from Shoes of Focus is probably the next most important thing. The ability spamming and extra movement speed and the get out of base potential from Travelers is third. And then you really just don't need this power. And the lifesteal is irrelevant on Ares because every single thing in his kit is a tick ability. So your healing lifesteal is irrelevant for Ares. So yeah, those are the orders of the boots. And now let's jump into the build. The build is going to be... It's pretty simple. It's a lot like all the other builds. There's nothing special about Ares. Sov... insane power spike, one of the best power spikes you can get in Smite right now, along with boots. That's why I think this shoe is just the best too. And then I think Genji's in most games is going to be great. It allows you to get a little bit of cooldown. Your safety comes from your abilities, so getting your abilities up quicker when you take that damage is going to be sick. And then you're just going to go either Pridwin into Mantle or Mantle into Pridwin, and this is going to be your build, and you'll finish it off with an embrace right there. Puts you at 310 physical prots, 288 magical prots, and 3.0k health. You're going to be incredibly tanky. You're going to do a good amount of damage because of Ares' passive. He's got the Sov, and he's got Sentinel's Embrace, which counts as an aura. I said on Twitch that I didn't think it did because it doesn't say aura, but this does count as an aura for Ares, so that's the reason you're going to want the Embrace. Puts you at 80 power total, between 30 power you get from his passive for this aura, and then 20 from the reinforced shoes. Let's jump into his kit because his kit's kind of important for why you build a couple of the items, so I'm going to walk you through the kit quick. So his passive, every completed aura item, he just gets 30 magical power. That's the reason kind of you build Sov. It's a quick power spike. You have to fully stack Thebes as an aura before it counts as an aura item. You have to get it to 50 stacks. That's why Thebes on Ares is not that strong. Even though it is an aura, you have to stack it before getting that power. And then the Genji's, like I said, he does have decently long cooldowns. 9, 9. This is with 40% cooldown. 9, 9, 7.5, and then 60. With 40% cooldown, the Genji's passive, you will be able to have your chains up as soon as they go down. Same with your 2. If you 2, it lasts 8 seconds. As soon as it's done, your 2 is going to be back up. And then your 3 is just a bunch of damage, but it doesn't go on cooldown until the damage is off. So if I put a point in my 3, you have to cancel it before it starts counting down the cooldown. So Ares 1, like his 3, instantly jumps on cooldown. Or I mean, unlike his 3, instantly jumps on cooldown as soon as it's used. The 3, though, you have to cancel before it'll go on cooldown. That's why the cooldown is a little bit more necessary. So your 1 is just that line ability. It cripples people if you hit them with the chain. So if this guy's crippled, or with this guy's chain, he cannot jump. If I crippled that guy with the chain, he will be unable to jump also. It does minion damage. It goes through minions, and it does tick damage. You get movement speed from hitting it. They lose movement speed. So if you chain them, they're slowed. You're moving. Chain them, you're getting a ton of movement speed. And you can get up to 45% movement speed with all the chains. And now your 2. Your 2 is protections, CC reduction. You get bonus prots from hitting shackles, and then HP 5, which they just added recently, which is it's actually super sick. The HP 5 feels super nice on this. It's something you want to kind of prio depending on the game. Between this and your third ability, it's up to you, whichever one you prefer. This one is making you tankier. This one is making you do extra damage. There's nothing else you're really getting besides those. This is going to be getting extra healing, extra reduction, extra prots. This one is just extra damage. That's what it is. So on the Ares you want to be, do you want to be the extra tanky one that's harder to kill, or do you want to be the one that does a little bit more damage? However you decide to play, it's your choice between which one you level. The 3 is just this cone ability that does damage in the area. It does percent of the god's health as damage, and it does tick damage also. And then the ult, everyone knows the Ares ult. It's classic. Pulling back if they're not CC immune, they get pulled into this area after like about 2 seconds or something like that. Ability leveling on Ares. He's got one of the weirder ones. It's kind of like the Hercules one where I said you can start one of the abilities and then you won't touch it again. So if you were playing Ares in a conquest game, you're starting the purple buff, you want to start your flames, because that'll allow you to kill those 2 side minions with your flames, and then it'll leave the middle one very, 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 very low. So you're going to go 3, 1, 1. This is the best power spike for like almost any god. The Ares level 3 power spike is terrifying. His god damage per tick almost doubles, and it can last, I think, 8 seconds. So 8 times 45 is just short of 400 damage that he can do to you by himself at level 3. And then you want to put a point into 2 just in case. It gives you some HP 5 if you're getting poked out a little bit, some protections if you're getting gone on, and then a little bit of CCR. And then after that, you want to put a point into your ult, put a point into your 2-2. Right here, this is also something that you decide. Here's how I do it. I'll usually put a point into my 3 just for a little extra damage here, and then I'll go back to my 1. Ares ult is not something you level. The only thing you gain is 75 damage. You're not playing Ares for the burst off his ultimate. Don't level it, especially when the rest of your abilities are so darn strong. And then after this, it's up to you to put between which ability you like to level. Depending on the game, I'll just max out the 2 completely and then go the 3 and then the ult, or I'll max out the 3, then the 2, then the ult. But it is really up to you and how you want to play Ares and how your Ares is going to play. So for playing the 2v2, just a quick thing, like I said, level 3 is your power spike. Everyone thinks Ares is this early game dominant god. He's not that early game dominant god you think he is. He's a level 3 power spike god. And it's not like him getting his 3 abilities. It's him getting 2 points into his 1, which is his big spike. Don't fight level 1 to 2. Your damage is low. At most, 25 times 8, you're doing 200 damage to someone. At most. That's if you hit every single chain. Well, what's probably going to happen is you hit 1 chain, you take minion damage, you do 75 damage to the god, pre-mitigated from their protections, and then you're taking minion damage that entire time and you're just getting poked. It's not worth the trade. Just wait to use your 1, unless you think you have a kill, a little bit of setup for your ADC if you're playing Honor, Apollo, something aggressive that can dash in, and you want to cripple them, then it's fine. You can try to hit your 1. But you're not trying to kill anyone and all in at level 1. You're taking little cute trades that give you a little bit of a health lead. Maybe you hit your 1 and then hit your 1 again, and then you 3 the wave to push back the wave, so you're not taking that minion damage. But your level 1, the level 2 is not your all-in. Level 3 is when you're looking to all-in. And then beyond that, level 4, level 5, whatever. The more points you put into your 1, the more all-in potential you have. Ares power spike, I think it's level 8 or 9, when you have 5 points into your 1, is one of his best in the game. It's around when you're getting Sov too. So you're going to have Sentinels, Tank Boots, Sov, 5 points into your chains, and you're just going to be shredding people. That is the Ares biggest power spike. He kind of keeps spiking a little bit after that because getting points into the 2 and the 3 are also really sick, but your chains are why you play Ares. That's where your damage comes from, and that's when you want to fight. So now let's just get into a little bit of tips about Ares. Like I said, he's not an extremely difficult god, but my tips are: don't level the ult. Do not level the ult. It is not why you're playing Ares. It's not for the burst off your ult. 2, use the timing in between the chains. You have 2 seconds between hitting the chain or using the chain to use another one. So if you're doing this, 2 seconds, these chains are falling off and you're getting no damage off. Not that good. However, if you're waiting in between, chain, 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 these chains are lasting 8 seconds. 8 seconds, and he cannot get away. So just space your chains. That's a very, very important thing. Ares plays best as a counter pick. if they have an Agnian mid, a Zeus in mid, an Opwash in mid, a AMC ADC, stuff that doesn't have CC immunity or is very reliant on a dash, Ares plays super well into those gods. And those are the gods you can exploit. Rama plays really into his dash. So if you blink chain him ulting is just setting up, waiting, and then he's coming down. He's just trying to buy a little bit of time. Hopefully a rotation is coming his way. Or he's going to have to beads and roll. And then a little mind game you can play with Ares. And this is a little bit more of a timing thing and kind of like it mostly is a mind game. If you blink in, chain, and then they beads, as soon as you see their beads, you can ult to pull them back in, and then Rama is going to be forced to ult. And if you see Rama start to ult, you're winning that trade super hard, where Rama is now forced to ult to waste time. He is literally just going to have to sit there then and wait for your ADC to come down. Use that to your advantage. It's a little bit better with gods with no CC immunity. So if you're playing into an Agni whose beads are down, or I mean an Agni who doesn't have a CC immune ult, you blink onto him. As soon as you think he's going to beads dash, you just ult. So you blink hit one chain. He's probably waiting for you to hit that second one. He's like, if he hits just one, I'll be fine. If he hits two, I got a beads and dash. So that's usually my rules. If I see a mid that I think I can kill, but I'm worried about ulting them back with no beads, I will blink in, chain, wait like half a second, and then just ult. Because that's usually when they usually look to blink or beads and dash away. That's just a little tip. That's something that you can try to use. But usually it's that second chain that they wait for. In the earlier levels, maybe they freak out because you blink chained them. But usually at my level of play, I like to wait for that second chain because I feel like that's what the mid is waiting for. Another tip is hitting chains before using your 2. If you're just using your 2 before fighting, you're just getting this little bit of 40 prots. I mean, it's not a little bit, it's actually a lot. But if you hit these shackles first, even if you just hit 1, that's an extra 7 prots, 14 prots, 21 prots before using your 2. So just try to hit your chains before using your 2. Ares is one of the best gods with blink. If you're playing this god, build blink. That's my another tip of mine. It's that simple. Just use blink on Ares. Really, I've got nothing really else that'll help you guys with Ares. He's a pretty simple god, but I think the 2 biggest things is that level 3 fight and then the mind games with the beads. I think those 2 things are massive and will help you step your Ares game up. One more thing I have is you are knockup immune in your 3. You can't be knocked up. You can't be interrupted via knockup. So if a rat's ulting above you or Nike's gonna jump on you, you hear a jump, use your 3 so you don't get knocked up. It's way worse for you to get knocked up and get slapped with an ability than for you to use your cooldown on your 3. Just use your 3 if you think you're about to get knocked up. If Hebo's about to 3 you, use your 3 so you don't get knocked up. Don't underestimate your damage. That's, I guess, the last thing I'm going to say about it is your damage is very, very, very high. It comes out over time, but it is very, very high. That's about all I've got with Ares. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys got any questions, any gameplay, god questions, build questions, let me know. I'm also streaming on my Twitch, so you guys can check me out there. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like, please sub, comment, please. I love you guys. Thank you guys for supporting me, and hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace out.